What's up, what's up, what's up? Happy New Year! Welcome, my beautiful house guests, to the official season 1 of In the House, my favorite place to be. It is 2020 freaking 5. It is the year of the bride, baby. What's up? It's gonna be an excellent year. And it's gonna be an excellent season. At least I hope it will be, because honestly, I feel like a lot of the times I don't even really know what I'm doing, but I'm just kind of like winging it and hoping for the best. My goal is to step more into alignment with authenticity. Authenticity is the vibe for the year, which is, interestingly enough, a challenge for me, in the sense that I'm always kind of apprehensive. Am I showing y'all my boobies? I'm kind of apprehensive sometimes about showing up as my full self because I can be a lot. I struggle sometimes to show up in every space as my authentic self, and I'm challenging myself this year to do that despite how weird or whatever it may look. I also have a lot of new fun stuff to bring to the show. A debut of the Inner Spinner. More to come on that in just a moment. So with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I raise a glass to the new year, to the new season, and I welcome you in the house.
Hey girl, we missed you last time. Coming out tonight?
Okay, so I mentioned to you guys the Inner Spinner, which basically every episode I'm going to spin and figure out what interesting, odd shenanigans I'm stepping into for the episode. Oh, Mom's Ministry Moments. So actually, this has nothing to do with shenanigans. I do have shenanigans from my mom. Not shenanigans at all. So we'll be right back after this word from Mom. Mom's Ministry Moments. Ain't God good?
Hi, it's Mom. Today I wanted to just share the secret to happiness. The secret to happiness is letting every situation be what it is instead of what you think it should be.
Whew. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Michelle Sierra and subscribe to my channel for more fun content. But for now, let's pop into today's episode. Insecurely yours. That was a word, Mommy. Thank you. Okay, so let's kind of like dive into this episode. Touched briefly on my struggle with authenticity and all the things, and there are some other insecurities that I have as well, some of which I'm going to put myself way out there and share with y'all today. I forgot, you guys, one of the most important things. Baby! Do you see the shoe? Do you see the shoe? Okay, so we're gonna dive into something a little fun. It's giving The Price is Right except insecurities. And I have with me here this ghetto fabulous balloon wall of insecurities. It's got questions about my insecurities so that I can begin to introduce you guys to some of what those things may be.
Two.
Maneuver this thing. Let's pop two. Oh, it's a slow leak. Can you hear it?
Not really.
So, balloon number 2. Do you sometimes feel that your authentic self is at odds with others' expectations? How do you reconcile that? Literally, in my introduction, kind of said that I feel like my authentic self is at odds with others. It could be my own fault based on how I present myself to people initially, and me holding back some of myself because I fear that I'm too much, too quirky, too weird. I saw an interview the other day with SZA, and she was on the Drew Barrymore show, and she was talking about how quirky she is, and someone in the comments said something that resonated with me, and they said, being a quirky black girl can be isolating. And to answer this question, I say that much exactly. I feel like because of my quirks, especially as a black woman in black spaces, I don't necessarily fit into like a lot of the molds, which I don't mind. I like that I'm different, but it can be isolating. How do I reconcile that? I make web shows called In the House and stay there.
That was genuine.
Whew. That's the way it's supposed to be done, ladies and gentlemen. You ever find yourself holding... I feel like I just answered this, which is interesting because I made these questions. Actually, ChatGPT did, but whatever. Do you ever find yourself holding back parts of your personality, afraid that people might think you're too much? Short answer, yes. Next balloon.
5.
How do you feel when you see others with body shapes that seem to be more celebrated? Aha! Now we're getting into a new insecurity. So I have what's called an inverted triangle body shape, which is like larger and wider at the top, and then thinner, smaller at the bottom. I don't really see body types like that really reflected in the media, on social media, online shopping, like when I'm trying to like envision what something would look like on me. None of the models have inverted triangle body shapes, so I have no way to actually really see what that would look like for myself. So again, it's isolating. Everything is isolating, and everybody wonders why I stay inside to myself. It makes me feel like my body type is not normal, and like everybody else's is. And considering that so much of my life is spent feeling not normal, that just like compounds. Okay, next balloon. Have you ever tried to hide your skin, and how does it make you feel emotionally when you try to cover it up? New insecurity unlocked. I have interesting skin. Very proud of the fact that for my entire life, even through my teenage years, the skin on my face has been pretty clear. But I will say this, my face is the only place on my body, and I hold on to it like for dear life, that I've never had problems. Everywhere else, I was actually diagnosed when I was a little girl with something called keratosis pilaria, which, look it up, honey. And they did tell me when I was a child that it was regenerative, which means that as you get older, it tends to calm down, in some cases go away. In my case, that was true. It is or was regenerative, so it's much better now than it used to be when I was a little kid. Y'all, when I was a kid, it was so bad and I was so embarrassed. I remember this one time I was in PE and I was in like, I don't know, kindergarten, first grade, and we had these different stations set up in the gym. Like one station was jump roping, one station was like sit-ups or something. Like it was all these different stations, whatever they were. I got put in a group in the station with the boy that I had a crush on at the time. His name was Emmanuel. And earlier that day, a kid had thrown up and it had gotten on my clothes, so I had to go to the Lost and Found to get new clothes, and the pants they gave me were too big. So long story short, I go to PE, I have pants on that are too big. My station is the jump rope station. I'm in the group with my crush, and I start jump roping, and the pants that were too big fell down and revealed my skin. And the guy actually said something about it. He was like, dang, you ashy, right? And I was so embarrassed, bro. Like, I think I cried. So, my skin on my body can be very dry in different seasons, and depending on my diet, at different places. There are like some fine bumps. They're not like that big of a deal. Not anymore. They're much better now.
I think it's next to you.
It is. Thank you. You're so helpful.
Observant.
You're so helpful. Ladies and gentlemen, can we just take a moment and give it up for my newly hired executive producer, Raja Hilliard. And might I add, for those of you who might be new here, that he also put a ring on it. So he's my executive producer and my fiance and my future baby daddy. So what's up? Okay. When you dress up, do you ever feel like your body shape makes it hard to truly feel comfortable or stylish? Not always. I kind of think my sense of style works regardless of my body shape, but I will say there are certain things that make me feel frumpy because I'm so much bigger up top, and frumpy is not the vibe. I'm too young and cute and vibrant for that. And then also like with bathing suits, rarely ever am I truly comfortable in a bathing suit. If it's a two-piece, I feel like, wow, everything is all up in your face. It's way too overwhelming. And it's like, I have a cute butt, guys. You don't need to know that, but I'm sharing it. Oftentimes, I feel like that gets overlooked, though, because everyone is overwhelmed with the upper body. It takes over. So that was the balloon wall of insecurities, you guys. That was just kind of like a light introduction, some hors d'oeuvres, if you will. The next segment is actually a mystery date segment. I am going to go on mystery dates with a few of my insecurities and try to guess which ones I'm on a date with. Hello, mystery insecurity. What's your name?
Well, my name is Dan.
Ficky. I thought you were gonna say my name is Ficky Slim Shady. Okay, Dan. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sometimes I feel that what is glorified by mainstream is not something that I have myself.
If you could say something to your younger self, what would you say?
Don't worry about what people think, like embrace how you look, embrace your image, show up into places being confident, show up into places being bold. Although your image may not be glorified by society, maybe you are a trendsetter.
Next insecurity. What is your name? Sam.
My name is George.
What would you say to your younger self?
You have something to offer towards to the world.
What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is being rejected.
And who am I talking to now?
Now you are talking to Steve.
This is going to seem like a really abstract question, Steve. What color would you say describes your aura?
White.
White is often associated with purity. Are you pure?
I wish I was pure.
First of all, I feel like I already know what you are, and the fact that you said white is so trifling. Bro, did you say white because it's the color of ash? Ashy skin? Get out. Okay, well, cats off the back. So obviously, yeah, Steve was representing my dry skin. The guy in the middle. Fun fact about me. What was I saying? Fun fact about me is I have really bad short-term memory, which I just proved by saying, what was I saying? That to say, I honestly don't even remember what George or Dan said. George was afraid of rejection.
Exactly.
Is he my personality, like my authentic personality one?
Yeah.
Okay. Dan was my body shape.
Exactly.
So enough about my insecurities, guys. I went on and on and on about those. We actually got a couple of people to send in some Dear Raja questions for the wise, wonderful, happy to be here, wonderfully involved and supportive man. Raja is going to answer some of these Dear Rajas regarding y'all's insecurities. Dear Raja / in the house, I am a Christian and I know that I know what the word says about regret. As much as I seek God to deal with this issue, regret still seems to sneak up on me. Perhaps regret is a form of sin. Perhaps it is just the sorrow over the consequences of my past decisions, which I know I can do nothing about. Perhaps I struggle with being able to forgive myself. I just don't know. The insecurity is in their decision making, their ability to make good decisions.
Well, I will first begin by saying that we all have made bad decisions or decisions that we aren't necessarily proud of, which can cause us to feel levels of regret. And I think as you mature and as you journey throughout life, you know, those feelings or those thoughts like, dang, I wish I would have did this or I wish I would have did that, like they are normal to like pop up. All things work together for our good. All things. That's the bad decision. We think that we should have went this way, but we went that way. The Bible tells us that all things work together for the good of those who love God and
That's
are called according to his purpose. That doesn't mean some things. And that's, you know, a reframing of the mind that sometimes it takes time for us to actually, you know, accept that. So when we look at the decisions that we have made within our life, and although all of the decisions may not have been the best decisions, we can take comfort and we can take peace knowing that not only has God forgiven us, but we can forgive ourselves because they're still going to work out for our good.
And you know what? You saying that made me think also, like, every decision that we make, even if we think it's a bad decision, is a part of our story ultimately, and it leads us to where we are meant to be. You're going to end up where God wants you to be.
When you're walking with him, yes.
When you're walking with him, when you're in alignment with him and connected
Yes.
to the source, you will end up where you are meant to be. So decisions that led up to that, even if they were bad decisions that you regret, were a part of like the stepping stones along your pathway to your
And
destination.
I will close at least with this, that we all have learned so many different things from things that we should not necessarily have done or decisions we should not have necessarily made. So never take for granted what you learned or what you gained, and what we learned does empower our testimony or our story, as you alluded to.
For sure.
So yeah, I hope this helps you.
The next one. Dear in the house, how do I keep going when I feel like quitting? My circumstances are tough and I never seem able to get ahead of my issues. My relationship with my spouse has died. I struggle to find or keep work. My finances are meager at best. I'm always asking for support and I'm trying to provide for my children. I co-parent, but with everything compounded, I feel hopeless and insecure about my ability to be a provider.
This is difficult because it
Yes, it
sounds
is.
like that you have a lot of different things that could be affecting the way that you're feeling. I would just suggest identifying 1 to 2 areas that you can actually
Like,
work
do
on,
something about.
that you can actually currently do something about. Being as though it's the beginning of the year, a lot of people like to write down, you know, their vision, their goals, their objectives. And I think, you know, it's really, really great and it's a useful tool to do that. So
Yeah.
start with your vision. Where do you want to be in 2026? Then write down objectives for, you know, maybe 4 objectives for the year. And that could be objectives. When I say objectives, that's, you know, it's not just a goal, but it's a certain place within life that you want to be at. Then from those objectives, write down goals. And from those goals, you need to kind of be able to identify what are you
Steps.
doing. Yes, what are you doing
each
from a
one.
day-to-day basis to be able to accomplish that goal. And I will also say I'm a big advocate for therapy, like counseling. So depend upon where you're working at, you can probably, you know, take advantage of counseling with your insurance, and even if you don't, there are opportunities like through Medicare, Medicaid, or different things where therapy, can cost you pretty much little to nothing out of pocket.
I would say, in lieu of, if you don't have access or the ability to have a therapist, maybe like making sure that you connect with friends and people who are thinking the way that you like-minded people, basically, or people who you can look at and say, I like how their life looks and that's what I'm trying to get to, and look at your circle and hang around and expose yourself to people who are doing what you want to be doing, talking the way you want to be talking, making the kind of money you want to be making, and just let that be your friend group as an alternative if you're unable to access therapy.
I think getting in a good circle of people that align to where you want to be is always great. I will say there are an abundance of resources out there in respect to therapy. So there's a myth that if you're not making a certain amount of income, or if you don't have this type of insurance, that you can't get therapy. And I think that ends up hurting more people because it's a lie. So take the time to actually, go on Psychology Today to look and identify a practice within your area and just call them and have a conversation. Being a parent, you're looking at work life, you're looking at finances. There's a lot of different things that could be useful and beneficial to you that I can't necessarily, or we can't necessarily give you those things directly right now within this time. Right. And connecting with someone or some people can be very helpful and beneficial for you.
All right. Hopefully that was a lot of information, but it was a lot of really good information. So hopefully. Dear Raja / in the house, I hate to say this, but I have a truly annoying and obnoxious close family member. He has always been this way, but I'm finding over the years my response toward him is growing less tolerant. Not only do I feel like I have to temper myself so I don't totally destroy the relationship, but sometimes he pushes me to thoughts that are unloving and unkind, and they make me feel like a bad person for not having it in me to respond more lovingly. I guess I'm insecure about the person I become when I'm tested in this way. I also wonder if my family member feels insecure and that's why he behaves the way he does.
Sorry that you have that experience with your family member. I will say that, unfortunately, many of us struggle with.
Well, we all got them. We all got them.
One or more individuals within our family. I would say in response to your to you sharing, I would say love, and love with boundaries. And what I mean by that is you don't necessarily have to give somebody the influence to change who you are. You don't necessarily have to allow what this person is doing, what this person is saying, to affect how you relate to them or how you engage with them. You can't control how somebody treats you, but you can control how you engage with them. And I think when you also considering family, when you love with boundaries, it's also you're being very intentional with how you engage with them. So you're not allowing their tone to cause your tone to, get louder, or you're not allowing, their attitude to change your attitude. You're just remaining calm and being yourself. But family does have a way to pushing your buttons and getting under your skin.
Definitely.
But you don't necessarily have to allow that person to see that they have that power over you. And I think setting up boundaries, I don't necessarily know the details of that relationship, but, having time to yourself that's less engaging with this individual, setting up certain times when you can tolerate this individual and when you can't.
So I would say as well, I want to address that they said they feel like a bad person for thinking or for being annoyed. And I want to address that in particular, because I don't think that anyone is a bad person for feeling annoyed. Everybody has somebody who annoys them. That's a natural thing. And that doesn't make you a bad person.
Sitting down with the family member and sharing how you actually feel. And maybe you all can come up with some type of healthy way to coexist with one another.
I hope that was helpful. I hope that any of the dialogue that we had was in some way helpful. We are people who pray, so we'll be in prayer for everybody who watches this, for your life to be beautiful and for you to be able to connect with yourself, insecurities and all, and find ways to love yourself the way that God made you, because he made you exactly how he wanted to. And that is perfect in his image. I want to say a special thank you.
I want to say happy birthday to you. That's what it sounded like you were about to do.
Happy birthday to you, because I was going to say thank you to you.
Oh.
I want to say thank you to my executive
I wanna
producer,
say
guys,
thank you to
who
me.
sits here and helps me set up and press record and
It's a
adjust
daunting
lighting
task,
and
y'all.
ask questions off camera
It's a
and
lot.
gives advice.
Come on,
He does
y'all.
so
It's a lot.
much. He's a big, strong man. Did you just say I'm a lot?
Yes.
You see, he's feeding into my insecurities. I promise we are a healthy couple. He accepts me for who I am.
I do.
And you love me.
You're a lot in all.
You love me.
Yes, I do.
You love all of it.
Yes. This is toxic. You love me. You love
Look at me. You love me.
See, she's
No,
trying to
don't look at the
mesmerize
camera.
me.
Look at me. You love me
I love you
so much.
so much.
At the end of the day, I also hope that I'm able to inspire you guys not to take yourselves too seriously, insecurities as well and all, because like life is short, and at the end of the day, who really cares? Who really cares that I'm shaped like a slice of pizza? My man don't mind. He think I'm cute. Like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Laugh at yourself, poke fun at yourself, try to grow and self-improve. And while you're at it, don't forget to follow me on social media. That's right, on Instagram at Michelle and Sierra, and subscribe to the channel. Because remember, I've got some hidden gems coming to you this season, and you're gonna want to stay tuned. I know everybody says that, but I mean it.